So I am going to taste this wine that you got for me to taste blind and try to decipher what it is. Blind tasting is the cornerstone of any sommelier's career, I think. That's a very personal statement because I don't expect every sommelier to do this, but I spent 18 years of my life focusing on blind tasting. I studied it. I was a little bit of a fanatic because I believe that I think every wine should be tasted blind. Because I think if you see a label of a wine, of course you'll make a decision because you see, oh, this is, whatever it is, and you'll say, I like it, don't like it, and talk about the wine. But if you don't know what's in the glass, that's when you really can talk about the real characteristics of the wine, where it's from, because in today's world, there's a lot of phony wine out there, so we must find the authentic wine. So let's check out what this wine is all about. All right, yes. So, of course, many people do blind tasting. There's competitions, there's sommelier exams, Master of Wine, and many others, I'm sure. There's world competitions for sommeliers and blah, blah, blah. I have never done any of them. I kind of have a different approach to blind tasting. I try to find the vein of the wine by, of course, tasting it, but I kind of go back towards first starting from either the place, the soil, and coming back to the grape variety towards the end. So it's a different approach. I don't check any boxes like many exams do. My career was on the floor working, and I didn't have time to kind of think about what it is. It was very quick. I learned from one of the best, Larry Stone, and when I worked the floor with him, I was his assistant between 96 and 99, and in the middle of service, he used to come with like half an ounce of wine and say, what is it? And I'm in the middle of service, and I started off as a bar back and bartender, waiter, and I was always like busy in a restaurant. He's like, what is it? And I had 5 seconds to guess it. So that's why I became a very fast blind taster. I don't need 24, 25 minutes as like an exam to taste 6 wines. I would do that in 5 minutes. I'll probably fail the exam because I don't check the boxes, but I do think that for me to find the place, the soil is more important than anything else. So here we have a red wine, seems to be medium viscosity, seems to have a little bit of garnet, kind of a orangish rim, slightly watery. Already tells you this is a thin skin variety just by looking at it. The alcohol seems moderate high, maybe slightly higher than on the nose. Red fruits, cherries, licorice, a salty character on the nose, earthy. I get some wood influence, but not a lot. Perfume, really, really a lot of perfume, a lot of red fruits. Just straight away from the nose, it takes me to the old world. At this point, I kind of start thinking of possible varieties and soil types. This does seem like a place where it's high level of minerality in the wine. Beautiful nose, and as I swirl it, it just gets more perfume, especially the licorice, kind of that red cherry licorice note. A little bit of kind of coffee, but not a lot. Just on the nose, I think it could be Pinot Noir, Nebbiolo, somewhere maybe northern Italy. I can't think, I don't think it's Sangiovese. It don't smell like that, but it could be. Yeah, let's taste it. Yeah, thin skin but tannic variety. A lot of fruit. Alcohol seems maybe 13.5, 14%. Some sweetness, of fruit sweetness, not sugar sweetness. Tannin, moderate plus. Acidity, moderate. Kind of cooler climate. Soil type reminds me of limestone. Pretty clearly it's Nebbiolo from Piedmont. It's ripe. Could be Barbaresco or Barolo. Color is light. Vintage. Maybe 15 or 16. Barolo from good producer. I mean, it's not very dense. It's not like top, but it's a good producer. Solid Barolo. Say I'll say 15 Barolo. Doesn't remind me of a super traditional producer. Maybe more modern style, a little bit more barrel. But yeah, in this case, it does not take me anywhere else. This takes me straight to Langhe, straight to Piedmont, and yeah, voila. I mean, other things it could be like something from Alto Piemonte. It could be a Nebbiolo from another country. Though I've never had examples like this. I don't know. It just doesn't take me anywhere else. I want to go someplace else, but I don't know. It's not like Dolcetto or Barbera, because that would be darker color. The tannins are very supple. It has a long aging, so the tannins have kind of fallen off, I think. The color also, this is a Nebbiolo color here. It could be Pinot Noir also, but it's not Pinot Noir. The tannins are too aggressive. It's too much licorice. And also, if I want to focus down where in Barolo, it could be from a kind of a sandier soil, like La Mora maybe. Limestone based, but sandy soils because it's soft textured. So I'll say Barolo, La Mora, 15, voila. Barolo. Yeah, La Mora. Cool. All right, there you go. Got the village, got the wine. Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty classic example. I mean, I think anyone who practices blind tasting would kind of get this wine the way it is. Yeah, the vein of the wine is the limestone, and the sandy color. The texture of the wine is very soft. 15, a really warm vintage, but it comes off really fresh. I do not know this producer very well, but I think a pretty classic example of a Nebbiolo from Langhe. I could have said Sangiovese a little bit, but the acidity is not high enough, and in 15, the wine would have been darker. The reason I call it 2015 is in hot vintages, sometimes you lose a lot of the color, or the grapes don't have the same anthocyanin buildup because the vines are shut down for the heat. I think this is what happened here. Also, tannins were kind of soft. If this wine was any softer than this, I would have called it like a New World Nebbiolo. I did think about it, but I never had something like it. So, like I've had Nebbiolo from Australia a few times, but then this was way too complex to be that. Unfortunately, if there's only one way to get good at blind tasting is by practicing. And I started early. I started, when I was 24. And I had no wine knowledge. In today's world, it's a little bit more challenging because wines are probably 10 times more expensive than 20 years ago. And the sommelier's job hasn't changed much, and the pay hasn't changed much since then. So it is hard. But we have the Corovan nowadays, which we can easily Corovan and taste wines in a group and learn. But even before that, an exercise I did early on in my career when I used to take certain herbs and flowers and fruits and see them decompose. So for example, in this case, you get a touch of rose petal on the nose, kind of a dry rose petal, but not like a 2-week dry rose petal, maybe like a 10-day rose petal. If you take these flowers, roses, carnation, any flower, and you just hang it upside down and keep it in a dry place, and you smell that over 2 weeks, 3 weeks, because it does start to decay at one point, and then it starts to kind of get dry. This wine has that kind of beginning of that decay of the rose petal. I did the same thing with many different flowers, with herbs, and also fruits. Sometimes I keep like cherry, and just cut the cherry and take the pits out and just put it in a glass, cover the glass, and then just smell it every day. and see how it evolves. It basically decomposes. And those aromas are very interesting. Wine also changes in a similar way. This wine, of course, will kind of get more aromatic with age. It loses tannins and keep its fruit.